Hey, it's time for a garden update. Let me show you how the different beds are doing. This is what I called my herb bed, and it has carrots, walking onions, some cilantro, some dill, and over here I have some parsley and some weed that I don't like. I also have a bunch of lettuce sown here, but it's actually pretty warm these days, so I don't know if this lettuce is ever going to make it or not. We'll find out. This is the last bed that I haven't put the drip irrigation on, and yeah, I just have to do it. Then underneath that is my strawberry and peppers bed. The strawberries are doing great. I actually finally have some strawberries ripening. Take a look at this. I'm guessing another maybe day or two and these will be ready for picking. Can't wait. I'm sure they're already sweetening a little bit, but I think they need a little bit more. And yeah, they have runners galore. It's runners everywhere. I don't know what I'm gonna do with so many strawberries, but yeah, I planted a few here in these root pouches. I'll probably use them as gifts or just to plant them somewhere else. Here are my peppers. They look kind of small because I chopped their tops when they were growing and I kind of forced them to bush out. They're finally starting to put flowers, so that's fine. I mean, I think in the long run this is actually going to be better than having them grow as a single stem and then branch out. This hopefully will produce sturdier and stronger plants. And then over here I planted some late peppers, or rather these are peppers that I planted much later than these guys, and you can tell the difference. These are just single stem. These are probably from late January, I think. No, these are from late February and those are from late April, so that's the difference. On the back of that bed I've planted cucumbers, and these are probably about a week old. The soil temperature is just right, I think, for cucumbers. It's 75 degrees, so I hope they do well. I have their trellis right here ready, waiting for them. And I do have a row of empty space that I haven't planted anything in yet. And I just need to figure out what to plant. Then on this corner are my tomatoes. I do have two types of planted tomatoes, or rather I planted tomatoes two ways. One is the usual vanilla way, which is you give them a lot of space per plant, and the other one, which is right behind me, I'll show you in a sec, is a dense planting method. And in this way you basically leave the plants and let them vine out and have multiple vines. And the idea is that they will produce more tomatoes per plant. As you can see, I already have some fruit here and then some flowers over here. But that plant over here is a newer one again. It's about a month and a half younger than these guys. Everything was started from seed and they're all different varieties. Behind me is my dense tomato forest, and you can already see how much more tomato plants there are. Here the idea is that I will probably keep one or two main vines from each plant and let them grow like that, see what happens. You can see again, I already have some tiny little tomatoes growing, so this is good. This is good, I'm happy. Next to the tomatoes are the asparagus. I'm not harvesting any this year. I've just planted them this year. They're second year roots, but I'll probably give them 1 or 2 years to mature. And yeah, there's not much to them, just asparagus, ferns. They seem to be happy. All of their roots grew nicely. In front of the tomatoes, I have yet more peppers. And again, these are ones that I have just trimmed at the top to force them to fork early on. We'll see what happens with them. Some are definitely growing faster than others, and again, they're all different varieties. This year I'm just trying a whole bunch of varieties to see what grows best. Behind me, this is my cold crop and bean crop bed currently. These are all my pole beans, and I have Garden of Eden and Rattlesnake, two varieties. in this corner here, I didn't get all my beans to germinate, so I just planted a couple of cucumbers afterwards. We'll see what happens. Behind the beans is mostly kale and collards and chard and things like that. Then behind that, I have a row of mostly lettuces. And then the last two rows are radishes, beets, turnips, kohlrabis, basically the roots, a little bit of spinach here. But yeah, actually my radishes are ready to harvest, some of them anyway. We'll probably harvest some for salad later tonight. These are my 4 zucchini plants. Again, these are in root pouches, and these are 15-gallon root pouches. Over here I had an extra asparagus root, so I just put it in a root pouch to see what happens. It's probably not going to be very happy, but we'll find out. And behind that I had some extra blackberries, and I'm basically keeping them in 5-gallon root pouches for now to keep alive, but I'll probably plant them somewhere later in the season or next year. This is one of my 4-in-1 cherries. It is currently in a 20-gallon root pouch, although not full, and it's 4 types of cherries grafted on a single rootstock. This one flowered, formed fruit, and then it aborted all the fruit. I'm not sure why, but it's a very young tree, so I'm fine with that. I would rather it stay healthy than try and produce fruit and sort of eat up all the energy it has. These are my 2 fig trees, again in 20-gallon root pouches, and they seem to be happy. I got them as bare sticks, so there's some indication they're alive. This is my mostly potato rack and some extra small trees. Let me start with the potatoes. The potatoes I'm growing again in root pouches, and I have 20-gallon root pouches over here and 10-gallon root pouches. I've started them low so that I can add soil as the plants grow. For example, this bag here is ready for more soil. That one isn't. And I have 3 varieties: Yukon Golds, followed by red Pontiac, followed by purple Peruvian fingerling potatoes. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Then over here in these small pots and these bigger pots are my kiwi berries. I'm basically trying to start a few kiwi berries, and so far I have 3 plants that are okay. These actually look sad because of sunburn. When I took them out, I didn't harden them enough, and all of the leaves that they had sort of weren't happy, but all the new leaves are fine. And then behind them I have some that have just waken up, like this one and this one, and then there's some growth on this one as well. So yeah, these will be nice. This is a raspberry. I have some extra raspberries when I was buying, and I just put them in root pouches again. This is a pawpaw. I have 3 varieties of pawpaws, and I'm currently growing them in 15-gallon containers. They'll probably stay here for a couple of years before they move up to a larger container, and then we'll see. Eventually I'll probably put them in the ground right here where this big rack station is. This is my second cherry, 4-in-1 cherry, and as you can see, this one is still holding on to fruit. Some of these will probably ripen, I don't know, and I don't know if I'll be able to save them from the birds, but either way, I'm not really expecting any big harvest, or don't even want a big harvest. I want the tree to be healthy, so I'm gonna let it take its time. And this tree definitely has less leaves than the other one that aborted the fruit, so yeah, I mean, you can see this fruit is pretty much aborted as well. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Again, 20-gallon root pouch. And my last bed there, the long bed, is what I call my berry bed, which is currently overgrown with garlic. I planted this garlic in October last year, I believe, and I have 7 varieties of garlic. But really, these are my blueberries. I have sun blue blueberries, Toro, and then another sun blue. And because I had so much space between them, I decided to plant some garlic. From what I read, that's fine, and my garlic seems to be growing very well, and the blueberries seem to be, well, looks like I'll have a couple of blueberries, so that'll be nice. Then here are my raspberries. I have 3 raspberry plants and 4 blackberry plants. There are 2 Primocane varieties, one is thornless and one is with thorns. So that's pretty much what my garden looks like right now. I'm pretty excited that I'll be able to harvest some of my col crops, like my radishes. And I'm excited that my strawberries are finally ripening and nothing seems to be eating it, which is a big win. I was actually worried that some of the chipmunks or the birds are going to attack them, but so far they seem to be doing fine. And I'm excited for the tomatoes as well. I've never planted so many tomatoes, and I'm comparing again different varieties, different methods of making them branch early or late in their development. Also, are they planted close together? Are they planted separate? I have some that are in a little bit more shade, some that are a little bit more sun, and basically I'm just experimenting this year to see what works, what doesn't, and then I'll start optimizing for next year for harvest and for taste, of course. Well, thanks for watching. See you next time.